In this tutorial we provide our navigation buttons with button states. What that means? Well, especially if you style your buttons, it's pretty important to keep the user experience intact. Let's take a look at the emulator. I'm supposed to interact with these buttons by tapping on them. But there are other devices as well. Take, for example, this flip out. And look at this screen of the Android settings. Of course, you can tap on those entries and go back. But you should also be able to navigate through the settings via this D-pad. And for that, we need different states for our buttons. Let's leave the settings. Let's have a look at our DT4000. Right now, we have absolutely zero feedback about our interaction. That's why we need states for our buttons. In Android, defining button states pretty much boils down to providing different bitmap backgrounds for your buttons. So for a button, we define one background and then define a selector which chooses the appropriate background for the button. First of all, let's copy some assets over to our project. I've prepared 3 graphics, which I drop into the drawable-mdpi folder. These are 3 PNGs. One is orange, one is rust, one is sand. Each of those consists of only 1 pixel in the corresponding color. So if I open Styles, I can in fact exchange the color value for background, exchange with a reference to the appropriate drawable. /orange_bg. Save. You see, it looks exactly the same. As you can see, I have provided only the name of the file, not the extension. But to have Android choose one of various backgrounds, depending on the state of the button, I still need something different. I right-click on Drawable MDPI, select New, select Other, select XML, XML file. And I call this panel_button.xml. Click on Finish. There it is. Now the root element we'll need is the element selector. You can copy the namespace from some other Android XML file, here for example, and paste it into the panel button file. But maybe in future versions of the ADT, you might be able to create this selector via the Android XML. Right now we have to create it like this. I create an item, and that will be the item for the basic state. And for this I'll define Android::drawable, and the reference to the appropriate file. Drawable/orange_bg. As you can see, in the moment the item is ready, the error goes away. Now I can change the styles entry to drawable panel button and check if it still looks the same. If I want the button to show a different color when it's in focus, I'll have to provide another item above the default item, because Android will go through this file from top to bottom and take the first one which fits. So if the button is focused, I want the background to be rust_bg. And I'll specify Android::state_focused is true. And for the press state, I need another item like that. So I copy this one, replace focus with pressed. Now wait a minute, why can't I write something like this? Well, that's because if you define focused and pressed in the same item, that will mean that this background will only be chosen when the button is indeed focused and pressed. If we want it to show when it's focused or pressed, we need 2 separate items. And that's all it takes. We can test it on the emulator. I pick the flip out again because of the D-pad. Click on OK. Well, and here we are. I can see the focus button is highlighted. Yay, and now we're done.